General Sir William Platt GBE, KCB, DSO was a senior officer of the British Army during the World War I and World War II. Early years. Platt was educated at Marlborough College and Royal Military College, Sandhurst. On graduating from Sandhurst, Platt was commissioned into the Northumberland Fusiliers in August 1905. From 1908 to 1914 he served on the northwest frontier in India, where he won the Distinguished Service Order and was mentioned in dispatches for the first of 6 such citations. Platt was promoted to lieutenant in June 1909 and captain in November 1914. First World War. From 1914 to 1918, Platt fought in France and Belgium during the First World War. Between 1915 and 1916, he was appointed Brigade Major of the 103rd Infantry Brigade and was promoted Brevet Major in December 1916. Between 1916 and 1917, Platt was a General Staff Officer Grade 2 of the 21st Division. In 1917, he was made a General Staff Officer Grade 2 of 2 Australian and New Zealand Army Corps in France. This corps was later reformed as the British 22nd Corps. In 1918 he was appointed General Staff Officer Grade 1 in the temporary rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Between the wars, Platt was a General Staff Officer Grade 1 of the 37th Division until 1920. In 1920 he once more became a Brigade Major, this time of the 12th Infantry Brigade, 1st Eastern Command, and then until 1922 Galway Brigade, Irish Command, after which he returned to regimental duties. Platt's permanent rank was advanced to Major in January 1924, simultaneous with the award of Brevet Lieutenant Colonel status. In March 1924 Platt once again received an appointment as Brigade Major, this time for 2 years in Egypt. In late 1927 Platt returned to the War Office in London, taking the post of Deputy Assistant Adjutant General on the Adjutant General's staff. His promotion to substantive Lieutenant Colonel rank came in 1930, simultaneous with his transfer to the Wiltshire Regiment to command its 2nd Battalion. On completion of this tour of duty in January 1933, Platt was promoted full colonel, and appointed as the General Staff Officer Grade 1 of 3rd Division, Bulford. In October 1934 Platt was given command of 7th Infantry Brigade in the rank of Temporary Brigadier. From 1937 to 1938, he was aide-de-camp to the King, and in late 1938 Platt was promoted to Major General to take up the appointment as Commandant of the Sudan Defense Force. In this role he carried the Arabic title of Al-Qaid al-Amm and was often referred to simply as the Qaid. He was appointed a Companion of the Order of the Bath in 1939. Second World War. As a result of the threat from Italian forces in Italian East Africa, Platt's modest forces in Sudan were reinforced in late 1940 and early 1941, primarily by the arrival of the Indian 4th Infantry Division and the Indian 5th Infantry Division. In recognition of his larger corps-sized command, he was promoted acting Lieutenant General in January 1941. He commanded the forces invading Italian East Africa from Sudan during the East African Campaign. After retaking the abandoned Kassala railway junction in Sudan on 18 January 1941, Platt advanced into Eritrea and captured Agordat on 28 January. He next faced strong Italian resistance at Keren. For the 3rd of March to the 1st of April, Platt's leadership played a large part in the successful outcome of the Battle of Keren. The Eritrean capital, Asmara, was taken by the Indian 5th Infantry Division on the 1st of April while Keren was still being mopped up by the Indian 4th Infantry Division. After the Battle of Keren, Platt lost the Indian 4th Infantry Division, which returned to Egypt. On the 8th of April, the port city of Massawa was surrendered. The forces still under Platt then marched on Amber Alagai. Platt's forces, advancing from the Sudan, met the forces of Lieutenant General Alan Cunningham, advancing from Kenya, at Amber Alagai. A large Italian force under Amadeo, Duke of Aosta, was dug in at Amber Alagai in what it considered impregnable positions. The battle for Amber Alagai started on the 3rd of May. On the 18th of May, the Duke of Aosta surrendered his embattled force and the campaign in East Africa was all but over. From 1941 to 1945, Platt was the General Officer Commanding-in-Chief of the East Africa Command, which, although no longer a theatre of war, was an important source of manpower. Platt raised 17 new battalions of the King's African Rifles. From 1942 to 1954, Platt was the honorary colonel of the Wiltshire Regiment. His lieutenant general rank was made permanent in May 1941 and he was promoted to general in January 1943. He retired from the Army in April 1945. Honours and awards. In addition to his British honours, Platt also received the Egyptian Order of the Nile in 1942, the Grand Cross of the Order of the Star of Ethiopia in 1945, and the French Legion d'Honneur in 1945. Aftermath. After his retirement from the Army, Platt joined his family's business, Mather and Amp Platt, where he served as a director until 1957. Army Career Summary. Commissioned Officer, Northumberland Fusiliers 1905 to 1914. Captain, Northumberland Fusiliers 1914 to 1915. Brigade Major, 103rd Infantry Brigade 1915 to 1916. General Staff Officer, Grade 2, of the 21st Division 1916 to 1917. General Staff Officer, Grade 2, of the 2nd Australian and New Zealand Army Corps 1917 to 1918. General Staff Officer, Grade 1, of the 37th Division 1918 to 1920. Brigade Major, 12 Infantry Brigade, 1st Eastern Command and Galway Brigade, Irish Command 1920 to 1922. Commanding Officer, 2nd Battalion Wiltshire Regiment 1930 to 1933. General Staff Officer 1, 3rd Division 1933 to 1934. Commanding Officer 7th Brigade 1934 to 1938. General Officer Commanding British Troops in Sudan 1938 to 1941. General Officer Commanding Sudan Defence Force 1938 to 1941. General Officer Commanding Northern Front, Eritrea and Ethiopia 1941.